Hello, my friends, and welcome to the True. I'm Robert Wallace. This is the place where we ask, am I choosing the way of Jesus, or am I choosing my own way? In John chapter 20, verse 3, we read, "So Peter and the other disciples started for the tomb. Both were running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first." Now, we discussed earlier this week how Mary had gone to the tomb early. It was still dark outside. And now Peter and John are headed to see for themselves. These brothers are taking action. Their reactions when they reach the tomb are not the same. When John first arrives, he just kind of stands there and looks in. Peter arrives and he goes right on in there, and then he stands silent. John goes on in. And in our passage, we read, "He saw and believed." Now, at this point, Jesus has only appeared to Mary, and then shortly after that, he appears to the two brothers on the road to Emmaus. And then after that, he appears in the locked room with the disciples. And their reaction is different as well. Just like we had different reaction between Peter and John at the tomb, now they're all in this room, by the way, behind a locked door, and their response to the presence of Jesus is mixed. Some of them think he's the spirit of Jesus. So what does Jesus do? But ask them if they have anything to eat, because ghosts, spirits, don't eat food. So they gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he ate the fish. Then the next time we see Jesus appearing to these disciples in the room, Thomas is there with them. Thomas wants to see the nail marks in his hands. He wants to see the pierce in his side. So Jesus says, "Look." And what do we read in verse 29 of John 20? Then Jesus told him, because Thomas believed, and Jesus says to him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Brothers and sisters, he's talking about us. He's talking about everyone who was not in that upper room, who chose to believe that Jesus was raised from the dead. In this short passage and throughout the rest of John 20, we see Jesus is actively engaging with the disciples. And over the next few short weeks, he is going to continue to meet with them, teach them, and eat with his disciples. The work of Jesus for the plan of salvation was completed. Now he is readying the disciples for life in his absence. In other words, Jesus was no longer going to be physically with them, and he was getting them ready because he called the disciples, and he calls you and I to action. We all know the Great Commission in Matthew 28, verses 16 through 20, where Jesus tells us to go and make disciples. In Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Jesus says, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all of Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." Make no mistake about it. Mary and the disciples were active on that Resurrection Sunday, on that Easter Sunday, and yet Jesus called them to continue to be in action. He calls you and I to continuously be in action. Why? Because Jesus has brought us out of the darkness and into the light. We are witnesses to his grace, mercy, and love. We know the good news of God's kingdom come and God's plan of redemption, reconciliation, and restoration. Here are the questions. Am I actively seeking Jesus, just like those disciples were on that Easter morning? Am I seeking him every day? Am I a living witness to his truth? Am I making disciples? Am I listening to what the Holy Spirit is telling me that I need to take action on today? Am I going to choose the way of Jesus that leads to a full life, or am I going to choose my own way? Now, I want to encourage you, invite the Holy Spirit to give you eyes to see and ears to hear. Go back and read all of John chapter 20. Read the other verses that I've shared with you this week. And as you do so, have a receptive heart and mind to receive these truths. And then take a step of faith today with the same boldness, commitment, and courage of Jesus to do what the Holy Spirit is leading you to do. I pray you'll have a wonderful day, my friends. Go in the peace of God. Blessings to you. Bye for now.